La di da di do do. La di da. Hold on. Just a sec. One moment. Okay. Whew. All right. We all need to seriously talk. I don't like you all watching me while I take a shower. I try to be very open with my audience. I try to be, I try to be professional, but this has clearly gotten unprofessional. You should not be watching me while I'm in the shower. And I'm serious. Please, make sure when you press the play button on a video, you make sure, you knock. But welcome to my top 25 ranking of film. And I decided to do this because ranking videos do well, like AI videos. I haven't done a ranking video in a while. And I've already technically told you all my top 5 favorite films. But I realized it's been a long time. It's changed. It's changed significantly. I mean, I'm not even sure I'd put the same movie at number 1 anymore. And also, I've been looking at Rotten Tomato a lot recently, and it just made me very angry because here's what Rotten Tomato will do. They will put something at 100%. It can remain there for a decade. And then I don't know what's going on. I think one person dislikes the film, and it goes from 100% to a 99%. And yeah, I'm not like the hugest fan of Citizen Kane. I probably give it a good review, of course. I might even give it 100%. I don't know. But if I put it there for that many years, I think it's only fair, really, that it should stay there. It should stay at 100%. It shouldn't be taken down after all that time. The same thing goes with Modern Times or Bride of Frankenstein. Whatever you think of those movies, they've been at 100% for that long. It's not fair. But that's part of the reason why I made this list. I was like, I'm going to do some official rankings here. I'm going to keep it at 100%. And once these movies get on this list, they can't get off. And I might like have to just keep them at 100% forever. Yeah. But they definitely will. So I've said a lot of movies are 100% in the past, and it hasn't really been official. There was The Hunchback of Notre Dame, I believe. I think I said once the Simpson movie was 100%. So I don't know why I said that. It's a very good movie, though, to be fair. I really do enjoy it. It'd probably be S tier. But there's also another one. What was it? It was like Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. I don't know if I could go as far as to give any Harry Potter film 100%. There's a lot that are close, 99% or 98%. I don't know if I can go as far as giving any 100%. It's such a huge thing to do, to hit 100%. It's quite an honor. And it's not realistic either. I mean, I don't think the movies that you are about to see are actually 100%. There's always something wrong. There can be a continuity error. Maybe the film didn't do good at the time it was released. Maybe it took a little while for it to gain traction. Or, I mean, maybe not everybody likes it. If one person dislikes any movie, that immediately means it's not 100%. There's one person out there in the world who doesn't like it. So there is no actual 100%. The way I do it is I look at it realistically. Realistically, do I believe this is 100%? I have to ignore problems with it. I have to ignore problems I think other people might bring up. But it comes from a personal place, too. These are my personal opinions, obviously. I mean, that should be obvious if you're watching this video. That's my personal opinions. I also want to state, I don't care what you all say. If you say I'm wrong, whatever. I understand, believe me. I'm sure I'd say someone was wrong too if they made a list. I try to keep in mind that it's just the person's opinion whenever I look at one of these lists. And as long as there's like a few movies I agree with, I'm like, okay, this list is fine. But my only thing I'm going to state is if you complain about any of these movies on this list and your response against it is it was boring, or because you don't like it because it's a silent film, I'm going to lose my mind. I don't rage very often. Those are some of the few things that can make me rage. Because if you say something's boring and you don't explain yourself, if you don't elaborate, if you say, oh, I didn't like the first act in this movie, and then you don't say anything else, I'm just going to completely ignore you. I mean, I'm not going to be really that mad. I have to pretend to be mad on this show, but I'm not really all that mad about it. They are just movies. But I'm going to be like, man, I won't take your opinion seriously. I'm just going to ignore it. You can't just do that. Too many critics do that. You've got to explain what makes it boring. You got to say, is it too much talking going on? Is it too much action? I don't care what your explanation is. Just have an explanation. And if you say a silent film's bad because it's a silent film, you're missing the entire point. It existed in a time before sound was even a thing. What were they supposed to do? They didn't have a choice. Don't judge them on that criteria. It's insane. If you don't like silent films, that's fine, but you can't criticize them for being silent. I don't know. But yeah, there will be actually a few silent films on this list. I don't know if other people really like silent. I don't know if my audience likes silent films as much as I do. I'm a big Charlie Chaplin fan, as you're soon going to see, but we'll see. I'm taking way too long to get to the films, aren't I? Well, real quick, I did want to point out my shirt, Back to the Future. This might be a clue, maybe not. I do have my Harry Potter pants, too, on. I went Harry Potter pants. Yeah, I know they're pajamas, so I don't look like the fanciest, I know, but it's for this video. It's to show some of my favorite stuff, my favorite franchises. And like I just said, Harry Potter isn't 100%. I also got elf socks on. So, yeah. I look so, like, trashy, don't I? In my Back to the Future shirt and Harry Potter pants. But, yeah. It's for the show. It's a costume, really. But anyways, we're going to get right to it. I'm going to get away from this fuzzy footage because I know you all probably don't like it. We are going to look at my favorite films of all time. So here's how it's going to work. Just want to check to make sure I'm up right now. Is everything going good? I do not see anything. I'm sure that it hasn't been forever. Okay, let me get it working here, guys. 1 sec. Share screen. Oh, here it goes. Okay, maybe it was there before. It just didn't show on my screen. Hold on. Are you all seeing this? Just give me a second. There we go. Okay, so we're all good. So these are my top. Actually, it's more than 25. So what happened was I realized that some of the films on this list I've already given 100% to. And I know you all want to see 25 new films that I would give 100% to. So I put 3 extra on here and an extra one to put in the D category, even though it would probably also be 100%. This is the official ranking of 100%, these tier lists. So right now, as of right now, the only films I give 100% to are Skyfall, My Neighbor Totoro, Porco Rosso, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Fantasia, Beauty and the Beast, Toy Story 2, and Toy Story 3. That's right now, but here in just a second, I'm going to be putting 25 new films on this list. And before you think all these films are going to make it, 3 of these films somewhere in here aren't going to make it. Well, no, wait. Sorry, no. 1 film is not going to make it on the official ranking of 100%. So you see how I always believe that if you're doing 100%, you should make it really hard to get there. It should be quite an honor. Very few films should hit that 100% mark. But we are going to begin. Now, these are not, at first my favorite. These are ranked in alphabetical order, and we're going to go from there. So the S tier is going to include 3. The A tier is going to include 10, because it's going to be hard for me not to put 10 in there. The B tier will also include 10. And then there'll be, I guess, 4 for the C tier and just 1 for the D tier. So plenty in the S and A. And again, all the films in S, A, B, and C are 100%. And even in the D tier, it's probably 100%, but I won't be officially ranking it. We're only going to 25. And really, I'm just doing the 1 just so I can put something in the D tier. But let's begin with probably the most controversial take on this. So I'm not really a fan of art house cinema like A24. I'm not into The Lobster or anything like that. I'm old school. I watch a lot of old school stories. I mean, my gosh, I grew up on like crazy stuff like William Shakespeare and like Great Expectations. I don't know what was wrong with me as a kid. I really got into that stuff for some reason. I wasn't even unpopular for it. The kids in my school didn't even really care. I don't know what was going on. But 2001: A Space Odyssey is a film that is one of the few real art house films that I have ever watched where I felt like it really did have a good story despite it being so art house. It is definitely an art house film. It does it's an adventure too. I mean, going up into space, there's all these mysteries, and it had something really important to say, even though I didn't understand all the time what it was that it was trying to say. This film, it took my breath away. I mean, some of the scenes, that scene where he's going in the rocket ship and there's all these callers flashing by him. I mean, it is really Stanley Kubrick's best film. I really like Dr. Strangelove too. I'm pretty sure that'd be 100%. I can't officially rank it here, but I think this one is technically better just because there's so many. Like, there's this one scene they use a pane of glass to make a pin look like it floats. I know that sounds simple, but no one had really ever done that. I can't think of anyone who ever did. They did it, and it was amazing. They did quite a lot of things. I mean, they would rotate like the studio. Oh, there was also I don't understand how they did half the stuff in this film. It's quite an impressive accomplishment, which also makes me respect it a lot, because a lot of these art house films are just dumb for the sake of being dumb, and then the critics are supposed to go, "Oh yes, so wonderful." But this one really took itself seriously. It really tried to tell a good story and have good acting. I really like Hal as the villain. He is like more emotional than any of the other characters. Like, the astronauts aren't as emotional as he is. And that scene where he's singing "Hello, Dolly" is very scary. The end scene with the baby floating over Earth. It's a story, I don't think I'd usually be into. And I do. There's going to be these stories in this that I give an official recommendation for you, and then there's like an unofficial recommendation. I do think 2001: A Space Odyssey is an unofficial recommendation because it is odd. It doesn't make a lot of sense. It's a lot of but if you want to give it a try, I mean, it's considered one of the greatest science fiction films ever made. And maybe that's the real reason why I like it. Maybe I'm just being influenced by people saying that it's the greatest. And then I watch it and I'm like, okay, well, I guess it is the greatest. Maybe that's all it is. But it does take a lot for a movie to become known to the public. And I do think there's really, and even with my YouTube videos, I feel like if there's a lot of talent on display, people will respect it. People will talk about it. It will enter the public mind. I mean, at least if you're making a cinematic film. I don't know about YouTube videos. Maybe, hopefully, one day, maybe one of my videos will enter the public mind. But yeah, it's probably the biggest art house film I've ever liked. I will say that. Up next is another, again, a classic film, Francis Ford Coppola. It's all Stanley Kubrick and Francis Ford Coppola right now. Believe me, there'll be some directors you haven't heard of. But Apocalypse Now. Ooh, yeah. I don't think it's A tier. I mean, I don't think it's S tier. I think it's definitely A tier. It went really well. I am not a big fan of the movie. I mean, the book this film is based off of, Heart of Darkness by Joseph Conrad. But they did a really good job with the film. And man, I think I like it more than The Godfather. I really do. The Godfather is also really good. A really good movie. I would probably rank it at 100% again if it was an official ranking, but it's not. So The Godfather is not 100% yet, but it could be. It very well could be. But Apocalypse Now, I do think is technically better just because just these beautiful shots. And the main character isn't even really like all that interesting, but he's an observer. He's kind of like reporting on all this, and great quotes from it. You know, I can't say I'm the biggest Marlon Brando fan, but he did a good job in this film. He usually does a really good job. I think he should probably be a masterpiece actor, even though there's a part of me that thinks he's overrated. He's not really. He's very talented. Let's be honest with ourselves. He had some problems behind the scenes. That is his main issue. But a really good actor, honestly. Not one of my personal favorites, but definitely really good. Next up is the sweetest movie ever made. A little bit dramatic, but The Artist. Oh yeah, that's got to go in A2. I am going to put that. Should I put it above Apocalypse Now? I think so. Yeah, I really like The Artist. It may be just because it's such a sweet film. This is where you all might disagree with me because I'm sure a lot of you don't like silent films. I've always found them incredibly spooky, and even the worst of them, I just find myself enchanted by them. They really draw you into the world in a way that dialogue can't. But this it's a love letter to the black and white Hollywood of old. It's got a lot of similarities to a lot of movies. Citizen Kane, they did some shots that are similar to that. It's a Wonderful Life, of course. I mean, the main theme is about a man trying to commit suicide and being stopped because the people in his life that love him, are convincing him not to. It's a beautiful, beautiful message. There's also Singing in the Rain too, because of the change from the silent era to the era of people speaking. There's a lot of references to old movies, probably more than I even can think of. I'm sure there's some Charlie Chaplin references in there when he's staring into the glass window. It kind of reminds me of one of those scenes, and then a cop comes up. I like too, honestly, that people are so nice in this film. I mean, this is really a personal thing for me. I like these kind of films where everyone's just chippy and cheery and trying to help one another. I wish the world was like that. I always wonder too if the world watching films where everyone's happy and nice actually it actually makes people in real life happy and nice. I don't think it does myself, but it doesn't seem like that works particularly, but it's nice to watch. I'm sorry. It's nice to watch people being nice. I try not to grade a movie just on those standards. I don't think it's fair, and now we get into the my film right here. When I was a kid, this used to be my favorite film of all time. I'm putting it in the B tier right now. But Back to the Future is, of course, is a big thing for me, just a big phenomenon, if you couldn't tell. I'm a huge Back to the Future fan. I've heard the director say he thought he got a few shots wrong in this film. I didn't notice that, but I should say some bad things about each of these films as like a challenge to myself, shouldn't I? That's a good idea. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Okay. So I've got to say something bad about all of these films. The Artist, there might have been guess there was a few moments that kind of bored me. Uh, yeah, I guess there's a few moments that kind of bored me. I never hear anyone give a good explanation for why they think The Artist is a bad film. It's always like, "Whoa, was the second act slowed down a bit?" I'm like, "What the heck are you talking about?" I really didn't notice much wrong with The Artist. Maybe it's just one of the rare perfect films. Yeah. Uh, I don't know. I mean, if you don't like suicide, the discussions of suicide, it might not be your film. Apocalypse Now, like I said, I think the main character's a little off. He's not that intricate, unlike the villain. There's some intricacies there, I think. He does really go through something. I'll give him that. I don't think his character is ever going to be like the greatest character of all time, though. Back to the Future, apparently there were a few shots that didn't work. And Marty McFly, if you're not a fan of people being mean, he's a little mean in this film. Not too bad. Yeah, it's a fun film, though, Back to the Future. This film, please show your kids when they're young. Because if you show it to them when they're older, they're not going to get it. They all have already seen so much time travel stuff. I watched this when I was like 5, and it was just enchanting watching Marty McFly slowly disappearing. I'd never seen anything like that. Back to the Future, as it is intended to be, should be like the first time travel film you ever see. I'd never, I mean, it was technically the first to do these kind of time travel stuff. There was some others, of course, obviously the Christmas Carol, I think the Time Machine. There might have been even a few, like the Twilight Zone. I know was making time travel stuff, so there's probably quite a few, really. But it was the first one to do it in this big way and have all these different ideas, all these cool ideas of like you slowly disappearing, and having a DeLorean as the time machine is just a huge win. I did forget about Doctor Who too. That's another one. But this movie taught me to rock out. I will say that. I love too the character of Marty and Doc Brown so much. I mean, those two are just gods of cinema for me. They might be my 2 favorite cinematic characters ever. Maybe they're up there for sure. I'd say they're definitely my favorite duo. I think that's fair to say. Yeah, that's definitely the truth. Say about The Artist. I mean, I've heard people say they didn't like it, but it's always something dumb like it slows down in the second act. So I don't really know. Oh, I have a good criticism about The Artist. So according to Charlie Chaplin, you shouldn't include too many title cards in your silent film. You should only have a few. It became like a battle between him and Buster Keaton, how many title cards they could put in their movie, just how few. And this movie definitely takes advantage of title cards. It does not care at all. There is quite a lot. They could probably, I mean, it'd be hard to have gotten rid of any of them. So, but that would be why I'd give it 100%. But I guess you could make the argument that they should have cut some of those out. See, no movie is perfect. You can always come up with something bad to say. The Big Lebowski. Oh, man. This is up there, too. I'm going to put it in B for now. Should I put it above Back to the Future? No, I'm not putting it above Back to the Future. I actually read the script for The Big Lebowski, and I didn't like it as much as the Back to the Future script. Not that that matters. That's not the only reason why I'm doing that, but there's a few moments that are kind of clunky in The Big Lebowski, whereas Back to the Future, man, got some great music, great acting. I do think it's better than The Big Lebowski. But The Big Lebowski is the dude. There's a lot of people that are grossed out by this film, I will say. And yeah, I'm definitely not one of them. I think it's very funny. Oh, and by the way, Back to the Future official recommendation. I think everyone can watch this and enjoy it at some level. Maybe it won't be your favorite film, but it'll definitely probably be up there. Apocalypse Now. It's pretty intense. I wouldn't give it an official um, recommendation because it is a very intense movie for some people, I'm sure. But I'll give it an unofficial recommendation. 2001: A Space Odyssey, same thing, unofficial recommendation. I'd give The Big Lebowski an unofficial recommendation too, because I'm not sure it'll be your thing. There's a lot of theories though with this film. I mean, it's created religions. The Big Lebowski. I would consider myself to be a member of that religion too. I'm definitely one of the dude's peoples. But the most commonly accepted explanation about what this film is all about is just, taking it easy in life. It's not about doing nothing, of course, but it's just about, he manages. And, he's not the richest guy in the world, but he's happy. He's happy with his life. And all this stuff happens, and none of it really matters. I mean, none of it actually makes a difference. But I don't think the film is a nihilist film. I think if you look at The Big Lebowski, he looks like Jesus. He's got the sandals. He's got kind of like the robes, the long hair, and the beard. I think they are directly referencing Jesus Christ. I don't have any problem saying that. That's just what the movie's doing. It's like Aslan, C.S. Lewis was clearly basing Jesus Christ off that character. And the Lord of the Rings, I think Gandalf is strongly implied to be a representation of Jesus. I wouldn't say he was. I'd just say he has a lot of characteristics similar to Jesus. I think that's safe to say. Paul Goodman, great performance. Steve Buscemi, I forget what this guy, Jeff Bridges, great performance. It's a fun movie, and it's hard to even say why you enjoy it. It's so different. It's so different from any film I've ever seen, but a little gross, I will say. There's some gross scenes in it, but didn't take me out of it. Casablanca. Well, we're definitely, or some people pronounce it Casablanca. I'm pretty sure you can pronounce it either way. But Casablanca, or Blanca. Yeah, it's definitely going up in the S tier. There's a lot of times in my life where I think this is my favorite film. And would I give it an official recommendation? Yeah, I think it's fun. I can't see it as not fun. I'm sure there's people that find this boring because it's one of the older films. I don't know. I don't even get, again, I don't like that argument so much. It's going to fill me with so much rage if someone in the comments says, I don't like this movie because it's boring. Please, just come up with some reason for why it's boring. Just say, here's an example of Casablanca, and this is going to be my possible criticism for this film. People talk too much in it. It's just a bunch of people talking. There you go. There's too much talking in it. There's not enough movement. I could understand a criticism like that. I can't understand you just saying, I got bored from it. But no, it's just Humphrey Bogart does a great performance. I mean, I don't even always like Humphrey Bogart, but man, he pulls off a really good performance in this film. Ingrid Bergman. There's really good jokes in this. I mean, if you watch a joke reel of this film, you can make the argument Casablanca is a comedy, even more than a drama. I wouldn't go that far, but yeah, of course, the whole film is, it ends with, Rick is the kind of guy that doesn't want to step into the fight. He's kind of like Porco Rosso. He wants to stay away from everything, but he just gets drawn into the conflict anyways, and he ends up sacrificing everything for the person he loves and for her happiness, and also kind of to help her husband who was tortured. So he was like, I'm going to get this guy to America. It's a really beautiful film. There is one shot, I did rewatch this recently, and there is one shot that uses a projector screen. That was a pretty standard practice though in Hollywood. I'm pretty sure Citizen Kane did it too. There's a lot of great movies that used it. It doesn't look very good today. That'd be the only issue I'd say. It's not really fair to judge a movie on that kind of thing though. It was just back in the day. That's what they used. And yeah, just official recommendation. Hey, by the way, I know there's a lot of old movies on here. It is like 125 years of cinema or so. I guess it really started in the 20s, but it's 100, at least 100 years of cinema. There's going to be a lot of old movies. I don't even look at lists that don't have old movies on them with just any grain. I just, can I say with any grain of salt? Yeah, I wouldn't give a grain of salt to any list that didn't include a few old movies. That's too many modern movies on some people's lists. It's like, that's not how, there's so much cinema. You got to be fair about this. I mean, I'm including modern films too. Believe me, there's going to be some modern films coming up. Don't you worry. All right, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Speaking of very modern films. Okay, I'm definitely not putting this in the D tier, but I know there's a lot of people that don't like this film. I'll put it in the C tier for now. So, yeah, this is just, I would officially recommend this film because it's so much fun. I did find some people online that consider this to be the worst Marvel film. I have no idea why. I would consider it the best for sure. I mean, if you just look at that opening shot where they're zooming around those characters, I think it looks like one entire shot. And you just get all these characters, they're fighting this monster. It's like, I don't get it. Why is it a bad film? All the CGI looks good. The acting's great. Everyone did a good job acting as far as I could tell. It's written very well. I like the story of Star-Lord going to this alien guy, and he finds out his father, but there's part of him that's like, is it really my father? And they're like stuck there and they can't leave, even though they clearly want to leave. But yeah, it's amazing. My favorite superhero film for sure. I'd love to hear why people dislike it. Certainly, please put in the comments why. I definitely would like. I want to understand what people think is wrong about this film. I do. I can't see it. I think it's great. I don't think there's a better Marvel film. But one thing I'd say wrong. I also didn't like the script for this film. I did read the script. He didn't seem like he cared about it, James Gunn. They do a good job with the humor. It's dumb humor. Maybe that's the reason why some people don't like it. It is kind of stupid. I don't mind. I still laughed at it. They did a lot of pop culture references, but they do explain the pop culture references. So I don't know if it'd really be a flaw. This is a hard one to come up with anything wrong to say about. I think it ends great. A lot of people say the ending goes on for too long. So there is a lot of action scenes at the end. So I can kind of get behind that. I don't think the ending goes on too long. I think it's perfect the way it is. But okay, sure. The ending, there's too many action scenes, I guess. That'd be the criticism. And it just the third act is way too long compared to the rest of the movie. I though admit to liking a third act that goes on too long. It gives the audience time to recoup. It helps with the process. It helps with the plotting, There we go. We're up to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're up to 7. We got to hurry. All right. The General with Buster Keaton. Sure, not a lot of people know about this film. I'm going to have to put it on A tier. Definitely put that above Apocalypse Now. So you're going to see a similar thing here. A lot of movies that support the Confederacy were very well done. I don't think it really supports the Confederacy. I think it's just a comedy set during the Civil War. And Buster Keaton is a Confederate soldier. I mean, you talk about movies now doing amazing things. I think this is even better. I mean, he does so many things that have gotten him killed. And it's not just that. It's just a funny movie throughout. It's such a ride. It really is. It's like a Looney Tune episode. And, of course, Buster Keaton, great actor. I love his performance. It's just so many. I guess if there was something to say bad about it, it's that it is just a ride. It's not really so interested and character and even really plot. It's really about the stunts at some level, even though there is a plot and there is characters, and I do like them. I think it's definitely more interested in the crazy stuff that he does, which is like jumping in front of trains, getting like derailed. I think at one was this the movie where he like hanged on that water spout? I think that was Steamboat Bill Jr. But he did some crazy stunts in this film. It is a miracle he survived it, and it is such a beautiful experience. Criticism, two, I guess it's a silent film if you don't like silent films. Anything else bad I can say? Would I give it an official recommendation? I don't know. Do you guys like silent films? I'm not sure. I mean, maybe you're not the audience for that. I don't have a problem with them myself. It's yeah, I'm just gonna give it an official recommendation. What the heck? Get some art in you, just watch a silent film for a change. You'll have fun. Official recommendation. I mean, it's not an art house film. It's just incredibly crazy. It's an incredibly crazy film. The Gold Rush. I could put that on C tier. We'll put it above Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I don't think I will. I don't really know why, though. A lot of these, when you're deciding between 100%, are just, I guess I can't do it. It's just a kind of feeling in your soul more than anything else. I'm trying to be as tough about it as possible and just be like, there's just one little thing in it. But really, it's just, I guess I can't. I guess I can't put that one above this one. And that's how I feel. I couldn't put Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 above The Gold Rush. Another Charlie Chaplin film. I'd have to give it an official recommendation unless you don't like silent films. That's the big thing with these two. If you don't like silent films, don't bother. That's what this is. Yeah, it's, I love Charlie Chaplin. I don't know if you've all seen the poster in my bedroom of him. He's my favorite comedic actor. He's one of my favorite actors of all time, too, just in general. And this film, he goes out into the wild mountains, and he's trying to make a life for himself, and it's about it's a love story. It's a happy ending. It was actually Charlie Chaplin's favorite film that he ever did, which surprised me. I always thought it would be City Lights or Modern Times or The Great Dictator or something like that, but he liked this one the most, at least from what I've read. But did very well. Very good film. I don't know. I tried to find anyone saying anything bad about it, and I couldn't find anyone who disliked it. One person did mention they didn't like the plotting, and I just ignored them. That was the only complaint I heard about it. But now we're moving on to another Confederate sympathy film, Gone with the Wind. I'm sorry. I found out recently I am not related to John Wilkes Booth, which was a huge relief. Family that we were related to him. Probably my family was friends with him, which bothers me, but at least he's, according to my mom, John Wilkes Booth survived. I don't know if I believe that, but I will put this above the artist. Yeah, it is. I'm sorry, man. I've heard people say they think it's boring or whatever. They don't really have any proof. The whole film's talking, and that's the point. It is a talking film. I feel like it's still engaging. There's so much character dynamics. There's so much complexity with these characters. I mean, Rhett Butler and Scarlett O'Hara, definitely my favorite romantic leads of any characters. I like, both of them in some ways. Definitely Scarlett O'Hara more than Rhett Butler. I don't know why people always side with Rhett Butler. Clearly, Scarlett O'Hara was the better person. I mean, she was a little tough, but I think the idea was you had to be tough back then. Movie, the actors are great. The about film. I don't mean to be mean, but you should know this is film. I mean, come on. Like, that's the reason why it's one of the highest grossing films of all time. And even looking past that, just everything went right. Uh, had to say anything negative about it. To be fair, I didn't really remember Ashley's actor very well. I mean, I don't think he did a very good job. Ashley's actor. He almost seemed like he didn't want to be there or something. I don't know. Projection screens, but I think it works in this movie because there's all these like backgrounds that are supposed to be beautiful and stuff, and it almost creates like a mythical aspect to it all. And to end off, if it makes you all feel better about this movie, I will say that I don't think it's really more than Confederacy. It's about the human experience. I feel kind of guilty giving this a good review, but I'm sorry. It's very well done. It's more amazing, really, than any other film I've ever seen in my life. Sorry. But moving on to my darling, my future wife, if she were alive, Audrey Hepburn, the beautiful, the wonderful, the only. Oh, geez, where should I put this? Gosh, is it better than Back to the Future? So this is one of the films I'm sure a lot of you probably haven't heard about. It is a very old movie, and it did receive 100% from Rotten Tomato. I think it's still there. It's one of the survivors of Rotten Tomatoes' stupid scoring system, where they take off films for like no reason from that 100% rating. I think it's still there. Yeah, it's an amazing film. It's beautifully shot. You know, all the acting's great. They got Peter O'Toole in there. It's a heist film, and I would definitely recommend this one. In fact, more than any of these other films, because I figure a lot of these you've probably seen or you might not like. I can't imagine, though, you wouldn't like How to Steal a Million. I mean, I'd go ahead and give an official recommendation to Gone with the Wind, even though it is a lot of talking. But prepare yourself for the talking in Gone with the Wind. But I can definitely give this an official recommendation, because even I can tell, even for today's modern era, it flows really nice. I mean, you can't even tell it. You'd think it was a movie today. Go watch it, really. Just go buy it on Amazon after you're done watching this video, because it's amazing. I mean, it really is a stupendous film. It's a fun film. That's what it is. It's fun. It's about fun. There is philosophical things they're discussing in this film. It's kind of hard to notice it, but they do hide that stuff in there. There's some great characters. And of course, the actual heist they do is the best heist I've ever seen in any film. It is so smart. You just never think that would be the way they do it. And it is one of the funnest things I've ever seen. I've always liked heist films. Yeah, this is definitely the best. Definitely would put this above Inception or something. But the only negative I could say about it, and there's not a lot, because it is 100% on Rotten Tomato for a reason. The only negative would be that none of them are from Paris. None of them have a French accent. They didn't even try that, which is, I guess, a little unrealistic. I think the idea is that they're like tourists coming to France, but I don't consider that a big deal. Maybe the editing would be the only issue. And of course, you could always just not like it. I don't know. I can't imagine that. This seems to be one of those films everybody could like, but there's always, right? Please go watch How to Steal a Million. My biggest recommendation on this list, because I can't imagine anyone not having fun with it. Moving on to Hundreds of Beavers. It's not what you think. I swear. Jeez. I'm going to have to put it in the A tier for sure. Oh, I put it above Apocalypse Now. I even put it above The General. No, I won't go that far. There's some weird stuff that doesn't work in it. Wow. Yeah, this is a newer one. A lot of you, I know this is another one I'm sure most of you haven't even heard of. But it's free on YouTube if you want to go watch it. I can't give it an official recommendation because it is so weird. I'm giving it an unofficial recommendation. That said, I had a lot of fun with it. I do think this film is fun. I think if you watch it, you will have fun. And if you don't have fun, you will have to respect the way this film is shot, the main actor for all he did, the fact that they worked on such a low budget. This really is the only true indie film on this list because none of these other films had a low budget. I think even How to Steal a Million probably had a pretty big budget, but Hundreds of Beavers had nothing. They were working with nothing, and I think it wowed me more than Guardians of the Galaxy or 2001: A Space Odyssey. I didn't know how they did it half the time. It was just a simple technique. They're just like kind of like on green screen, but they made it into something truly different. And that's the best way I can describe this film. It's truly different. It's one of the few films I can watch and rewatch again and again. But of course, as I mentioned, and this is going to be my main criticism for all of you, it's weird. It is incredibly weird. You could watch this and go, this is the stupidest thing I have ever seen in my life. And I couldn't blame you. I think it's quirky, though, weird myself. I don't think it's art house, really. I mean, it is art house. It's the second art house film on this list. If I had to say another film was an art house film. But it's like an old silent film. It is silent, too. That's another thing. So if you can respect Charlie Chaplin because he couldn't help being silent, then you might not be able to respect Hundreds of Beavers or the artists and be like, no, can't like them. They had sound. It existed. I can't respect that. Fine. Fair enough. I get it. But yeah, I always find those kind of movies spooky. I've always enjoyed them. I do want to kind of recommend Hundreds of Beavers because it's so amazing. I mean, that end climax, it's just incredible. I've never seen a climax like that. And it's so simple. They're just dressed in beaver costumes, all of them. I mean, it's not really, it's impossible really to describe. I would highly recommend the film, really. We'll call it an unofficial recommendation, though, because I mean, there's scenes where the guy's like getting pooped on. It's weird for sure. I'm not going to pretend like it's not. But yeah. Everything good? Any comments? We still got a lot to go through, so I'm just going to keep going through them. They're my favorite films. We might be here. I could try to make sure it's not 2 hours. Maybe I'll try to hurry a little bit. This is just my thing. These are my films. They really are. It's a Wonderful Life. I can't go S tier. I will go above Gone with the Wind. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of you have seen this film. It's one of the few black and white films, as far as I can tell, that people still really watch. Maybe just because it's a Christmas film. I don't know. But I think it's probably the top 3 black and white films that people will still watch to this day. Jimmy Stewart's acting, of course, is phenomenal. He's one of the best actors ever. Top 3 for sure. Script's great. I've actually read the official script for it. And yeah, it's perfectly done. There's so little wrong with this film. The shots, I've heard people say they're bored by it nowadays. I don't get that. Maybe I've just watched too many old films. But I think it deserves all the credit it gets. It's a beautiful film about valuing your life. And to be honest, every time I've watched it, it's definitely a rewatchable film. Say the only film I've watched almost to the amount as It's a Wonderful Life is Hundreds of Beavers. I think It's a Wonderful Life still beats Hundreds of Beavers, but it's close. It's a really rewatchable film for me. But It's a Wonderful Life I've probably watched like 50 times at this point, and it just keeps getting better every time. I keep seeing something new in it every time. I find, like, when I was a kid, I never even noticed the political stuff that's in it, but there really is quite a lot. I mean, just a simple example, how Mr. Potter's in his wheelchair. He has all this power, but he can't really, I guess that's kind of a thing against handicaps, isn't it? I'm sorry. I apologize. But yeah, and then you have all those little. I think recently I just watched and I found myself interested in the assistants that like push that guy around and do just what he says. I found them fascinating characters when you actually stop and watch them. There's always something new I can find with It's a Wonderful Life to enjoy. I don't need to talk too much about that. I think we all know how good of a movie It's a Wonderful Life is. Return of the King. So I'm still not really giving away anything yet, but I guess I just did. Yeah, Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King is definitely above Casablanca, I believe. And to be fair, I think it's probably not technically at the level of Casablanca in perfection. Oh, I forgot to say what was wrong with It's a Wonderful Life. Oh, I don't know, man. I don't think I can say anything wrong. I mentioned that some people find it boring, so we'll just go with that. Whatever. I don't buy that. Maybe some stereotypes today that aren't accepted today. Maybe. The Return of the King, though, I mean, I think all of us know how good of a film this is. It was quite an experience for me watching it in theaters for the first time. I was very young at that time, just so y'all. I'm not that old, but I was very young when I watched it in theaters. I still say all the CGI looks good in those Lord of the Rings films. All the acting's perfect. I have no issue with any of that. I have no issues with the script. Maybe the Fellowship of the Rings, a few issues, but as far as the Two Towers and the Return of the King go, no. People forget how much of an achievement these films were. I mean, they knocked everything out of the park. The music, the action scenes are incredible. I mean, that fight with those elephants will just it just will stay with me forever. And especially too that scene with Aragorn and he's in front of the black gates of Mordor and he's got his sword held aloft. I mean, that's the greatest scene in cinema to me. Of course, all the characters are good too. I mean, people point out a lot of things wrong with The Return of the King. I usually find myself disagreeing with them. Like, for instance, some people will say, well, Saruman should have got killed off like it was in the extended edition. I don't agree. I think the people think that, but if he had gone killed off, that would have taken all the dramatic weight off finally being able to destroy the Eye of Sauron. That was the whole point of this movie. If they took down Saruman, it's like, oh well, we'll probably be able to take down Sauron then. I mean, it kind of messes up the movie. So a lot of people had a problem with the endings. I guess if I were to make an official complaint about this film, I will say you could possibly one of the endings. I wouldn't myself. I get it. It's a denouement. I like long endings. I don't have a problem with it as much as other people do, but I guess there's been enough people to complain about it for me to go, well, I guess if I had to level a complaint against this film, that would be it. But I'm also surprised, just real quick before we end off with this, how good of an actor Liv Tyler was. People told me that she was terrible in this film. I went back and rewatched them. I was like, no, she does a really good job in this film. What are people talking about? I mean, I didn't see it. I didn't see any bad actors. None of them. Not a single one. I thought everyone put in a stellar performance. Nothing like this film, for sure. You have to admit that. There's never been anything like it. I mean, just the amount of people that did it, the lack of CGI compared to films now, how many years they put in, how much of their life, everyone just working on this film. I've never seen a film that does what Lord of the Rings did. As far as I can remember, that's the only film, even in this list, that did anything like that. But we will move on to Charlie Chaplin's Modern Times. Right? Yeah. Only got 2 Charlie Chaplins on here. But we are going to go. So this was originally number 1. So I guess you can tell what's going to happen. I'm putting it at number 2. It is a more perfect film, in my opinion, than The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King. Even though I know, there's so many people with eyes on Return of the King compared to modern times. I'm sure there's there's issues in times I'm just not seeing. There's too many eyes on Return of the King to get a fair assessment of it in some ways. With modern times, it is hard for me to come up with anything bad to say. Yeah, I would say like maybe it's because the person that he's in love with is younger than him. She's just a girl, I believe, but they don't actually establish that it's a romantic interest. It's left vague. I think it was probably a romantic interest, but I definitely give it, by the way, obviously, an official recommendation to the Return of the King. I imagine you will enjoy that. I would give a recommendation for modern times too, just because, man, if you can take silent films, this is incredible. I mean, just the sets they built. Again, it's one of those films that the only complaints I hear people making about it is, I don't like the second act, which I don't even know what they're talking about. Yeah, it's a hard film for me to criticize. I guess I can say this. As I've gotten older, and the reason why I push this down to second place is it's starting to become more and more of a real film, what it's discussing. And it becomes so sad because it's so accurate to what people are today. I really truly think that as those two people walked away into the sunset, that was the end of their age. And we are living in the age of modern times, whether you like it or not. And it's just so sad for me now. I see it all around, just the way people act. It's just a very labor-driven society and a technology-driven society. And there's a lot of good points to that. I don't want to say it's all bad. I'm just saying it is different. It was a change, and it did happen. And in a lot of ways, I hate to say this. I know there's going to be some people that disagree with me in the comments. I think this was the end of romantic love this age, or the kind of romantic love that they had back then. It changed romance. I think it became less about, this is the person I adore forever and ever. Oh, I found you. Let us be together. It became much more, everyone's trying to be more civilized about it. A lot of beauty to that. I mean, people aren't going Romeo and Juliet anymore, but it's also kind of sad in a way. It's just romance has changed. I do truly believe that as technology has come into the world and as these cities have just risen up. Yeah, it's sad. It's a sad film. It makes me sad. It makes me sad too because it's such a work movie. It's about work and people trying to get work and failing because the work is just so different from what it used to be. This guy, the tramp, came from a society that just didn't do work this way. And now it's just all assembly lines and unhappiness. And he's just not able to do it. It's just because he's just human, honestly. But society's pushing forward and they're making it work. And he's just being left behind. It's just a sad movie. And it makes me sad when I think about it because I realize, yeah, that's what's happening. I mean, there's just no stopping it. It was inevitable, I guess. And good things and bad things about it, but it's definitely happening. Oppenheimer. Oh, I'm sure I'm going to make some enemies with this one. So I don't even really like a lot of Christopher Nolan films. I enjoyed Memento. I thought it was good. I didn't understand The Prestige. Maybe I'm just not smart enough. Certainly didn't understand Inception. But after watching this film, I've realized Christopher Nolan might just be smarter than all of us. And these movies might be the most incredible thing ever. And we're just not going to understand. And maybe he's wrong for doing it that way, but let's see. Where should Oppenheimer go? Big Lebowski. I put it above 2000. I think I would put it above 2001: A Space. I think it has some good story stuff. I'm sure there's a lot of people here that don't like this film. I'm surprised I like it. It wouldn't usually be my outing. It's not art house. It's a biopic. I don't think you could really call it art house, but it's tough for a lot of people to watch. It's a very smart film. I just thought it worked. It was one of those I was like, okay, I can understand what you're saying. Uh, yeah, I think it's okay where it is. Yeah, I'd put it above 2001: A Space Odyssey. I don't think I'd put it above The Big Lebowski though, or even How to Steal a Million. I couldn't give this an official recommendation. This is obviously an unofficial recommendation. I have to say though, there's a lot of decisions he made shooting this where I was like, yeah, that worked, and it shouldn't have worked. Like he has shots in black and white and then color, but I get what he's doing. It's like it's kind of these are the things that might not have happened with the black and white shots, and the colored shots are like this is probably happened. All the acting's good. I mean, my gosh, the acting in this film is incredible. The cinematography is beautiful. It's it's probably the best cinematography of any of these films. The ending is great, which is always something I respect. I really do not like a film that doesn't have a really good ending, or at least a solid ending, which is my problem with a lot of films that are considered classics. I always get disappointed by the ending, even though I usually enjoy the beginning and middle. It just tapers off somewhere. Oppenheimer is not one of those films. That last shot with him and Albert Einstein, and this isn't giving anything away because it definitely doesn't give away the story. But the shot with him and Albert Einstein is powerful. For people that are very American and do not like criticisms of the atomic bomb, I mean, it was Oppenheimer. What were you expecting to watch? You thought it was going to be a positive review? But no, it's fair. It discusses a lot of the things about this and why they did it. It's not like just an attack. I mean, you can't say that you didn't watch this and see some of the arguments that they mentioned was, well, there's bombs that were just like this that we've been using. So why can't we use the atomic bomb? It killed just as many people. Just very good arguments. It's a very interesting story. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. I think it's better than The Dark Knight, truthfully. I really like The Dark Knight a lot. I'm not sure if I'd give it 100%. I'm not going to say that. But I have to go with this being my favorite Christopher Nolan film. I have to. I'm sorry. Next up, Alfred Hitchcock film, the only Alfred Hitchcock film in here, which is sad because I also like Psycho a lot. But Rear Window. Oh, geez, where am I going to put this? I just don't know if I could go as far as to say it's better than How to Steal a Million. It's a really good film, though. Jimmy Stewart's acting, of course. A negative about it. Well, I've already mentioned the negative. You all heard it. Rear Window. This is a hard one. Sorry, I'm trying to hurry. Would I put it above How to Steal a Million? I think I might. There's some really pretty shots in this film. Some weird moments, though. Definitely think pretty perfect. Used to 100% on Rotten Tomato until those freaking fat critics took it off for no apparent reason. If a movie makes it a year at 100%, leave it the freak alone. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's Citizen Kane. I don't care if it's The Lobster. You leave it alone. Window. Okay, yeah. I think that makes me want to put Back to the Future higher than How to Steal a Million, though. No, I can't do that. I really like How to Steal a Million. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty accurate. Okay. Am I comfortable with that? I think I am comfortable with that. So, yeah, it's an Alfred Hitchcock film. Jimmy Stewart's a great actor. Do I even need to say? The sets are cool. I like how they have that open set. I'm sure if I had to make a guess about how they did it, I guess they removed the wall for some scenes and then put it back for others. But I just love it. It's like a dollhouse almost. And this guy's like looking down at this whole world. And then, of course, he thinks that someone's got murdered, but he doesn't even have that much evidence that someone got murdered. He's not like he actually saw a murder. I mean, as much as I like that Shia LaBeouf version of this film, I do have to admit, he saw the murder. This guy is just thinking he saw the murder, which is way more dramatic. Really good film. The villain's great too, and you only see him for like a couple of seconds, but he is one of the most fascinating villains in cinematic history. But we'll go on from that to Rio. Official recommendation. Yeah, you'll have fun with this film, I think, unless you really don't like murder at all. In which case, I don't get that. I mean, come on, it's Hollywood. Someone's gonna get murdered. Rio Bravo. Oh, one negative too. Sorry. There's a few weird moments with the girl. I don't really have anything bad to say about it. I guess that would be it. There's a few weird moments of him looking at the girl that are a little bit nasty, I thought. That's all I got. Rio Bravo. Oh, okay. So there was going to be one I put in the D tier just because I wanted to put one in the D tier. For now, we're going to put that one there. This is still, make no mistake, I'm putting it in the D tier. I do consider this to be 100% film. It's John Wayne, who is, I'll go ahead and reveal it. Are you all ready? John Wayne is my favorite actor of all time. I love his films. I think he's so good. Just watch him and you'll see how he can just steal a shot. And even though you think that John Wayne, from what you've seen of him, I'm sure not all of you've watched all his movies, but you'd think he'd be one of those actors that always plays the same character. And he's really not. He always brings something different to the table with each of his characters, I would argue. The guy from Rio Bravo is not the same as the guy from The Searchers. This is an action film. There's a lot of violence. I guess that would be my negative about it. It is one of my favorite films for sure. So much fun to watch. Perfectly done. I will not say any more. We'll move on to the next one. Official recommendation. Yeah, got to give it to it. Unless you're just not a big fan of watching people get killed. The rules of the game, I would give a... I'd only give this a recommendation if you liked Shakespeare. Otherwise, I'd say I can't recommend it. It is a foreign film, one that I really like a lot. Should I put this above the Gold Rush? Just barely. Yeah, I think so. Just because I am a fan of Shakespeare. I don't like foreign films for some reason. I just haven't found many that I enjoy. I don't know why. When it's subtitled. I mean, I do enjoy them. I do. It's just I haven't yet found one that I would put at the masterpiece level, except this one. It's a weird film because it's about cheating. It's not even about cheating. It's about people being in open relationships with each other. And I don't know if I approve of that, but I have to admit this film makes it a lot of fun. I do admit that things like polygamy and open relationships are interesting in stories. I'm sorry. It's just an interesting world. I love hearing about this stuff. I think there should be more movies where a guy's married to 6 girls or a girl is married to 6 guys. It's fascinating. And it's not all about that. I mean, people get killed because they're in relationships with each other. But it's a Shakespeare film. That's the best way I can describe it. If you like Shakespeare and you have to like all of Shakespeare, then you'll like this film. Skyfall, definitely recommending it. Oh yeah, no, this is one of my favorite films of all time, definitely. I'd put it above Oppenheimer and The Big Lebowski. Not above Back to the Future, though. Maybe. I think I could put it above Back to the Future, honestly. It's definitely more of a classic film, but I do want to get you all to watch films you might not have seen. But even taking that out of account, no, I can't go that far. I'll put it behind Back to the Future, though. So this is the best action film, like as far as action goes, in my opinion. It really is the best James Bond film. You all already know how much I like this film. I've talked about it before. In fact, I've talked about it too much. I will say this: that villain is so much better than most of the villains that people, just look at that villain compared to some movies that people are praising to high heaven today, it is so much more intricate than those villains. I mean, that's all I'm going to say, because I have talked about this movie way too much. And I have talked about Snow White too much, too, so we'll try to skip past that. But just thinking about Snow White, man, just the animation in that film, it's so ahead of its time and so beautiful. I'm sorry, and I don't mean to be mean to Into the Spider-Verse. I really don't. I'd give that a solid A, maybe an A plus. I don't know, but I do admit there's just something so much more beautiful to me than with Snow White. I'm sorry. I know that may make some people mad, but I mean, look at Snow White. She's so pretty. I don't want to go that far. Official recommendation, I will say one negative is the witch staring at the camera and talking to you. It kind of like upsets the mood, but I didn't mind too much. I also strongly defend the prince in this film because he's in so little of the film, he doesn't need a character. That's a lot of the point of this film. The mistakes it makes with character and plot aren't mistakes. It's to make it more beautiful, to make it more a beautiful film. It's about being a fairy tale. Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back. Yeah, this is Star Wars right here. I did talk a lot about it in my Star Wars review, and I don't want to keep you all here forever, so I won't say too much. But of course, you all know I love this film. Do I love it more than Guardians Volume 2? I think just barely. It's close, though. I don't think I could put it past 2001: A Space Odyssey. That is such a different movie. But yeah, to people that say this is the greatest film of all time or one of the top 3, yes, you are right. This is amazing. You have every reason to believe that all of these films, really, in my mind, could be the greatest film of all time. It is just picking which one you like the most. All right, we're getting pretty close. Taxi Driver. Okay. Where will I put Taxi Driver? This is the Martin Scorsese film. I don't think I should put it above Rear Window, actually. There's a few things I don't like. I almost think about putting it next to Big Lebowski. I think it could go above Skyfall, though, and Back to the Future. Maybe How to Steal a Million. How to Steal a Million is definitely a more perfect movie. Everything went right in that film. The only thing you could say is maybe it doesn't have like the deepest philosophy, but I think that is kind of the point. And again, there is philosophy in How to Steal a Million. It's like, I forget what it was. I'm sorry. Taxi Driver. Back to the Future. I don't think I want to put it above Back to the Future, though. It doesn't feel right. It does feel right above Skyfall, kind of. This is my list, and I do feel like some of the acting was a little possibly corny, so I am going to put it there. It's very high for me. It's a weird film for me to like, right? It's very violent and definitely a look at New York. But what I really like about this film, despite the fact that it shows this rough side of life, and if you've never watched this film, you don't know this because you've just seen like the clips from it or something, but you don't see the good moments too. I mean, there's a lot of moments with really just this really shows the beauty of humanity. There really is with Taxi Driver. I mean, like even the pimp that owns the prostitutes, he's just trying to like survive. I mean, he's very nice to the girls, and he ends up getting killed for it. But he's not like a complete monster. You know, nobody's a complete monster. Everyone's trying to do the right thing in a lot of ways. And this is one of those films too. If you blinked, you might have missed something really important that happened at the end. Like if you just blinked your eyes, you could have missed it. But there's a shot at the end. The way it's edited makes you question whether or not any of the ending even actually happened. And it could have happened. It could just be a weird world where the rules are different, or it could be that this guy is just insane and he's in prison somewhere and he didn't get off scot free. I'm sorry, I gave away the ending. Sorry. I didn't mean to. It's hard not to talk with these films about the endings. I mean, all these endings I've liked so far. This is one of the reasons why I chose these films, because I do enjoy the endings so much. Yeah, Robert De Niro, I don't think a lot of people don't like him, but he's a really good actor. I'm sorry. He does a great performance. Martin Scorsese gives a really good look at New York. It's a really hopeful movie in a lot of ways. Sad, but hopeful. Would I give it an official recommendation? No. It's kind of art housey. I mean, I think a lot of people would like it though. So go ahead. You know, it's okay. It's not super violent considering what today is considered violent. But you might not like it. I don't know. It is kind of weird. So I wouldn't give it a recommendation, but think about it. The Thief of Baghdad is such a fun film. I do admit, and I think it actually benefits this movie in a lot of ways, but the are not that great. I put it below How to Steal a Million. I think I might. Oh, it's so much fun, though. Again, another one of those movies that's just fun. Still has a perfect score of 100% on Rotten Tomato, which is doggone impressive. I think I might put it above How to Steal a Million because it has such great philosophy. Heck, I might put it above Apocalypse Now that I think about it. I mean, the philosophy in it is the lesson that's learned. The effects are a little outdated, though, I will admit that. I got to put it at the same level as How to Steal a Million, though. Yeah, I think that's fair. So, yeah, I mean, another bad thing. You know what? No, it's fine. It's fine where it is. Yeah, it's a Arabian Night fairy tale. It's really, the acting's all great. The effects are a little bad. Some of the effects, but even that it was really good for its day. I mean, it was a really impressive accomplishment. I would recommend it for sure. Definitely official recommendation. I have talked about it in the past, so I won't get too much into detail, but great film. I would strongly recommend it. Alongside, these two fit perfectly together because they're both films I would strongly recommend you watch if you don't watch any of the other films on this list. Treasure of the Sierra Madre. Oh, that's going past Apocalypse Now. Would go past. I think it would go past The General. The one bad thing about this film is the ending. I have to give it an official recommendation because its plot is so much fun. It goes from these three guys being friends, and you see the whole descent into madness of Humphrey Bogart. The ending is a little off, not the worst or anything. And if you actually read the book, you'll know it's a pretty happy ending, all in all. But I just love this film. I'm always surprised it didn't do well in its day. Audiences and critics didn't really even like it. They do now. It's got like 100%. I can't imagine why. It seems like such a good action film. I mean, people were watching The Twilight Zone back then. They didn't seem to mind. So I don't get it. I really don't. How are you all doing here? Any comments? Any disagreements? Any agreements? Yeah, I'm always surprised people don't like The Treasure of the Sierra Madre because I think it's like such a good action film. You won't be able to tell what happens in this film. There's so many twists. I mean, it is just incredible. And again, I do think if you actually look at it closely, this film does have a happy ending. I truly believe that. You don't notice it when you're watching it, but the main idea is that these two people go off to this. I don't want to give too much away, but they go off and they have their happy ending. That's what I'd say. If you read the book, it's definitely a happy ending, and it's highly suggested in the film. The Searchers. This is another John Wayne movie. Definitely recommend. It's an action film. I'm sure you'll like it. Could I put it above Empire Strikes Back? I don't know if I can. Man, I love Empire Strikes Back. Uh, I wasn't going to originally put Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 below Empire Strikes Back, but the more I think about it, I'm like, it's close, but I do think Empire's better. I can't go as far as to call it better than the weirdest art house film ever made, but Searchers, would it be above Empire? Uh yeah, I'd say it was. Just because of the message of the film. Uh they didn't mess up any of the characters' names, I guess. Uh no, it's about, if you don't know what The Searchers is about, it's about John Wayne going after these Indians who stole his niece, I believe it was. And through it, you start to learn like his feelings about it. You start to realize he knows a lot more about these Indians than he's letting on, because it seems at first that he hates them. And it ends up becoming a very powerful message about equality than it first seems like it's going to be. And it's really is beautiful. I mean, I don't want to give anything away, I guess, but it has a really great ending. I'll give the ending away because it's just a shot and you won't learn anything from it. But at the end, John Wayne, who I will say does live, because it is a John Wayne film. He's not going to die. I don't think he ever died. No, he did die once in the film. I'm sorry. I forgot about that soldier film he made. But at the end shot, he's just standing there and he walks into the Wild West. And I guess you have to actually be there, but it is a really powerful moment. Absolutely love this film, though. You know what? I could put it above 2001: A Space Odyssey, I think. Yeah, maybe Oppenheimer too. Heck, it is really powerful. I will put it. Yeah, I can't put it above the Big Lebowski, but I will put it above Oppenheimer. Yeah, it's getting hard though now. All right, last two: The Shawshank Redemption and The Sound of Music. So these are all officially ranked 100%. I'm never going to change my mind. This is definitely above. Oh yeah, I'd have to. Yeah, I'd have to put it above Hundreds of Beavers. Sorry, Hundreds of Beavers. I'm sure you've all heard about this film. I mean, I'm sure it's some people's favorites. It has to be, right? This used to be my favorite film too. At one point, it's based off a Stephen King novel. Official recommendation, I'd have to say. I can't imagine people not liking it, especially with that ending. It's about a guy who gets sent to prison, and he ends up, and he probably didn't commit the crime. It's left ambiguous whether he committed the crime or not, even though a lot of people don't think that it is. But what he goes through and his life there in prison and finding hope in a place where it just doesn't seem like people want you to even have hope. And that's really what's beautiful about this film. I guess there is some intense scenes. If you're not into that, then you might not want to watch it. But it's incredibly powerful. I would recommend it for sure. I think maybe if I have to make an argument against this film, maybe maybe the message is brought down a little because it's like it seems like he was innocent, and they may not explain well enough that it is ambiguous whether he's innocent. I guess that's the only complaint I can make. Final film, The Sound of Music. I'm sorry to keep you all. I thought this would be an hour, but these are my favorite films of all time, and I really wanted to get into them and give you all my official feelings about them. So thank you all for hanging out with me. I love hanging out with all of you. The Sound of Music, top. Oh man, me and my mom love this film. My dad does too. I mean, um, it is kind of corny to say one of your favorite films of all time is The Sound of Music, but I don't regret it. It's very well done, even for today's standards. I give it an official recommendation. I'm sure some people would get bored of it and then never have an explanation. I put it above Snow White. Snow White's going to be last. Man, that kind of hurts. Could I put The Gold Rush? No, I got to put Snow White last. Sorry. Although it is quite a technical film. So Snow White, The Sound of Music. Geez. I think I would put it above Empire Strikes Back. 2001: A Space Odyssey. Yeah, I think it's better than that movie. I don't think Stanley Kubrick liked it, so that might be. He might not be happy about that. I don't care. No, he didn't like The Wizard of Oz. That's what he didn't like. I'm sure Wizard of Oz would be up there on these lists too. Hurts me not to put a Steven Spielberg movie on this list either. It just didn't come up. Sound of Music. I think I could go A tier on this, really. Such a perfect film, especially the end shot. It's a little corny at times. I know that's not much of a complaint. What is corny? But again, if I have to come up with anything bad to say about a 100% movie, you could make the argument that it's a bit corny. I could put it above Skyfall, Back to the Future, How to Steal a Million, the Thief of Baghdad. It's getting closer now. The hills are alive. I think I could put it above Rear Window just because of the emotion of some of the shots, some of the ideas. I could put it above Apocalypse Now, really. This is the hard one. I think there are some things, some issues with this film. Nah. One thing I never liked about this film was the children characters not all having super distinct personalities. That does drop it off a little bit for me. It's not done badly though. They do it very well. I don't know if I mind all that much. Of course, again, official recommendation. Love this film. It's kind of a Christmas movie. We watch it every Christmas, or at least most Christmases. So I guess it's another film like Hundreds of Beavers and It's a Wonderful Life. Honestly, Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King, that I watch a whole bunch. I think I could be comfortable with that. I do have to be at least, I feel like with these lists, you do have to be a little fair to how people view it and how critics view it. And I think they would view it a little below Rear Window. I don't know, though. That last line of the film is really powerful compared to Rear Window's radio going on. Not the worst thing ever, though. At the end of Rear Window, and that's not giving anything away, but there's like a radio playing. Yeah, that music, the musical score is great. The singing, it's a very loved movie. It deserves it. If you haven't seen it, you're just not going to get it, really. And it is corny, but that is the point. It's supposed to be corny. I don't have a problem with this. I'm also surprised, I read her book, the woman that this story is based on. I just learned recently she was a real person. I thought it was just like a fantasy story, but I did read the Von Trapp book, and it's really pretty close to that story in real life. If you take out the singing and the corny moments, it is pretty close to what they went through. Surprisingly, I mean, the end scene's made up, but that's just to give it a good finale. I can buy that. I understand why they did that. But yeah, I think I put it above. I think I could put it above Apocalypse Now. Could I? Yeah, I'm gonna put it above. Okay, is that right? All right, we're gonna take one last look at it, and then I'm gonna decide if I feel comfortable with this. Let me just count them real quick. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. Yeah, that's it. All right, now we got to do an official deciding. I can't make any mistakes with this. So right off the bat, these are perfect. I am going to go with Return of the King. I do admit it has some problems, but it's also a 3.5-hour movie, so that's to be expected. I think it's about as perfect as it can be for that length. The Modern Times, it's a sad movie, and maybe that is partially why I could still go second with it. I feel guilty putting them second. These three always are moving around in my mind, but I am going to go second with it. Casablanca, 3, that's fair. It's a Wonderful Life, 4, of course. Gone with the Wind, 5. Yeah, it's just too big of a movie. I mean, and for all of that stuff to go right, all that filmmaking to go right is incredible. The Artist, 6. I could buy that. Yeah. I got to put The Artist above The Treasure of the Sierra Madre. I think The Artist had a better ending. The General, yeah, it is really, really good. Shawshank Redemption, yeah, Hundreds of Beavers. The Sound of Music, is that right for that? Or am I just being too nice to it? I think I got to go back down here for that. That was a hard one, for sure, because it is such a classic movie. Above The Thief of Baghdad, or The Thief of Baghdad above it? I think it's above The Thief of Baghdad, maybe just because it had more staying power with people. How to Steal a Million, that's fair. Back to the Future, yes. Skyfall, oh, sorry. I love that film so much. Taxi Driver, though, is more thoughtful. Maybe I should put it higher because it's more thoughtful. Well, Skyfall's thoughtful, too. No, I think I'm right. The Big Lebowski. The Searchers above the Big Lebowski above The Searchers. I think I could put The Searchers. It's a really good movie. I'll put it just right there. There's a little bit of bad. I just remembered there is a little bit of bad acting in this from this. But he was just trying to be goofy. He was trying to be a comedic character. I get it. But there's this guy has this big smile on his face. It is a little silly. Yeah. Okay. Oppenheimer. Yeah. I would say I like Oppenheimer better than 2001: A Space Odyssey. Empire Strikes Back. That's fair. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I got to go sci-fi with these three. The Rules of the Game. Yeah. I'd say that's right. Gold Rush, Snow White. And then sadly, even though this is 100% because it hit the deep thing, for now it's a 99%, even though it's definitely not. But there you go. Yep, that's my choice. You're going to go ahead and count them down. At number 1, The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King. At number 2, Modern Times. At Casablanca. Number 3. At number 4, It's a Wonderful Life. At number 5, Gone with the Wind. At number 6, The Artist. At number 7, The Treasure of the Sierra Madre. At number 8, The General. At number 9, The Shawshank Redemption. At number 10, Hundreds of Beavers. At number 11, Apocalypse Now. At number 12, Rear Window. At number 13, The Sound of Music. At number 14, The Thief of Baghdad. At number 16, How to Steal a Million. At number 17, Back to the Future. At number 18, Skyfall. At number 19, The Searchers. At number 20, Taxi Driver. At number 21, The Big Lebowski. At number 22, Oppenheimer. At number 23, 2001: A Space Odyssey. At number 24, The Empire Strikes Back. At number 25, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. At number 26, The Rules of the Game. At number 27, The Gold Rush. At number 28, Snow White. Did I make a mistake? Number 29, Rio Bravo. Let me check. 2, 3. Now I'm at 26. What am I doing wrong here? I've been working at this too long, haven't I, guys? Well, you get the idea. If you want to stop there, I've got to go. Sorry. Last time. At number 1, The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King. At number 2, Modern Times. At number 3, Casablanca. At number 4, It's a Wonderful Life. At number 5, Gone with the Wind. At number 6, The Artist. At number 7, The Treasure of the Sierra Madre. At number 8, The General. At number 9, The Shawshank Redemption. At number 10, Hundreds of Beavers. At number 11, Apocalypse Now. At number 12, Rear Window. At number 13, The Sound of Music. At number 14, A Million. At number 16, Back to the Future. At number 17, Skyfall. At number 18, The Searchers. At number 19, Taxi Driver. At number 20, The Big Lebowski. At number 21, Oppenheimer. At number 22, 2001: A Space Odyssey. At number 23, Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back. At number 24, Guardian Volume 2. At number 25, The Rules of the Game. At number 26, The Gold Rush. At number 27, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. And at number 28, unofficially, Rio Bravo. I'd love to have included on this list Groundhog Day, The Bride of Frankenstein, Forrest Gump, maybe Pulp Fiction too. But that, I think, that's 100% right there. That is officially now 100%. I'm not changing these answers. I do regret them at some level, even now as I look at them, but these are all films I do truly love, and I would have to give 100%, even though I do recognize there are probably flaws with them. Even as I look at this, I'm like, well, technically My Fair Lady is a better movie. But the thing is, How to Steal a Million is more perfectly done. I will say that. But Audrey Hepburn's very good, too, in My Fair Lady. I'm sure that could be on a list of 100%. But yeah, that is it. We have gone through quite a journey together. I hope that you all enjoyed it. I had to do it. I had to share it. I wanted to rant against Rotten Tomatoes for constantly taking down 100%, because whether or not you think some of these films deserve 100% or not, like Modern Times, I'll tell you the ones that have gotten 100% before. Modern Times, Gone with the Wind, The Treasure of the Sierra Madre, Apocalypse Now at 100% for a while. Rear Window, Sound of Music did too. The Thief of Baghdad, How to Steal a Million still does. The Searchers had 100%. Then it went down to 80. It was ridiculous. I think even 2001: A Space Odyssey at one point. I don't really remember. The Rules of the Game still does. The Gold Rush still does. I think Snow White didn't. Rio Bravo has 100% though, even now. But these are they're amazing films. They've really shaped me as a person, truly. And I hope you all would watch a few of these. I really do. I hope you check them out, see if you like them. I'm sure there is other films that I've missed. I like. There's so many great films out there. As much as I try to stay away from Hollywood, I do have to admit there's just a lot of good movies out there that I just can't help talking about them on this show sometimes. But yeah, Paddington 2 is another great one. The Fantastic Mr. Fox. Again, I'm not saying these are 100%. We've established that, right? But I will say that I do really like those films for sure. Definitely want to give them 100%. There's also a lot of films I'm on the fence about, too. I am tempted just to give Citizen Kane 100% because I do realize it's such an accomplishment. Definitely mad that it lost that 100% rating. That still makes me mad. But that is all. It has been a heck of a journey with you all doing this. I hope that you all will check out some of these, as I say again. We'll just stop sharing here. But yep, Oh, nope, not yet. There we go. Yep, there we go. Whew, what a night it's been, though, man. I'd love to hear your all's opinions about what you think about these films, whether you think they're bad or good. Uh, Please don't say that you find them boring. I won't accept that. I'll just ignore you. I won't even comment back to you. But if you want to say, like, I thought it was boring because they talk too much, I will accept that. Even though it's kind of a lazy complaint, but okay. But thank you all for joining me. I have a lot planned for you all. I've got a food challenge going on. I want to give you all a tour of this house at some point. I got a few TikToks coming. I know it's been a while since I've done that. I am sorry. And I'm sure we'll do a few more rankings. I am going to do an AI retelling of Lord of the Rings 2, a Muppet version, because I can't resist. I've done Star Wars, which is one of my favorite film franchises. Now I have to do Lord of the Rings, which is also one of my favorite film franchises. But I'll see you. I'll see you in the future, I guess. I forgot the last line. What is it? Roads? Where we're going, folks, we don't need roads. And frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. And just keep going at it, buckaroo. I think that was Modern Times. Or I'm home. That's Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King. Beautiful line. See you all. And please check it out. Please tell me what your favorite film is down below. No. Tell me what your top 25 favorite films of all time is down below. And if I have one that's similar to you, I get a point. That's what I'm going to say. I get a point for that. You guys got to be like, you got some taste, Seth. You got a little bit of taste there. Check these films out, though. I think a lot of these films you'd like, even if you haven't seen. A lot of them are really fun. So check them out.